Hey everybody, Charles here. Welcome to Backroads Living. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some items that are very inexpensive, and these are things that would come in very handy in a disaster, not only for your own use, but if necessary, you could use them for bartering. Hang in there and we'll get right on into this video. I want to give about 11 items in this video today. I've talked a whole lot recently about shutdowns and things that are going on kind of in the political world, and man, I tell you, that stuff gets a little bit old after a while. It kind of just really wears on you, I guess, because we see it here every day. On every time we open up a news source on YouTube or anywhere like that, it's this stuff just going on, and it has to go on. It has to be, and we understand that. But I wanted to veer off that a little bit today and talk about some things that we can get that are inexpensive, that will benefit us in a national disaster or in a short-term disaster, maybe even. So these are things that are very useful things to us. It's not just, I mentioned bartering in the introduction here, but it's not just for bartering. These are things that we can actually use in our homes and in our places every day. But they also are good items to have for bartering if you were to need them. So that's why I say these are things that you might want to stock up on. They're inexpensive, and they don't take a whole lot of space to stock, and they could be really handy in a national disaster. And the first thing I want to talk about and mention are seeds, vegetable seeds for your gardens. If you have a garden, you certainly need to start putting back seeds. Now, seeds can be found at the Dollar Tree. We found seeds there this year. I think one of our followers, Paulette Gomez, said she had found them later on in the year in another department in the store. So be sure to watch for seeds wherever you're at. You never know when some of these stores are going to have them in stock. So always pick up seeds when you can find them. Now, we bought a lot of seeds at Walmart also, but seeds ran out early this year. People bought them out really quick. There are some online places right now that you can still buy seeds at. If you need links to those, let me know, and I'll be glad to add them to the description of this video later on. But garden seeds are very important, and not just for vegetables seeds, but I'm learning also that there's a lot of flowers out here that are edible, that you can use in salads and make oils and things like that out of. So those are things you might want to look into also, to find seeds for some of those. Do some research online. A lot of the folks in our community right here, man, they've got lots and lots of ideas of things that you can use, not just for garden seeds and flowers for things like that, but for herbs for medicinal purposes. So keep that in mind. Read through these comments. You'll find a lot of that in here. So be sure and put back seeds. This year when we grow our garden, we're going to preserve seeds not just for the following year, but for 2 or 3 years out. And I think that it'd be a wise thing to start doing that if you're growing a garden, to put back lots and lots of seeds, because now if things get hard, they may become pretty much just very difficult to get. Okay, so keep that in mind. The second thing I want to mention is feminine hygiene products. In a lockdown or in a natural disaster or a national disaster, these kind of things are going to be hard to get to, and women need these things. And I asked my wife, because I don't search for them when I'm in the store, but she said there were some of these that you could find at Dollar Tree. I didn't go into detail as to what they were, but you can see here that you can also find some of this stuff at Walmart. But those are also things that can be used for bartering. Okay, and seeds are the same way. If people need seeds to plant a garden, they would be highly, sought after, and be very important items for bartering. Might be, they'd be worth their weight in gold, as the old saying is. And the third thing is bleach tablets. Now, we found those at Walmart a while back, and they may still have them. I've not checked the last couple of trips, but these bleach tablets, you take 1 tablet per quart of water to make your cleaning bleach with. So it takes 4 tablets to a gallon, and there's 32 tablets in a bottle, if I recall right. So, you can get 8 gallons of bleach there for $3, if I recall right, $3 and some change. So that goes a long, long way. And when people, if you have a natural disaster, buddy, you still have to clean. You still have to, keep things sterilized and things like that. But now, this is not something that you would want to use to purify water. Upon researching this, I found out there's some stuff in this that you don't want to use in purifying water. Just use regular chlorine bleach for that. Don't use the bleach tablets. And the fourth thing would be painkillers of all kinds. And you can also find these at the Dollar Tree. You can find small packets of them. And I know that you can buy large packages of these in quantity at places like Sam's Club and Costco and some of the large stores like that. But everybody just can't afford to run out and buy a large pack of that and all the other stuff they need too. But you can pick up these from time to time when you're at the Dollar Tree for $1. And in times of national disaster, people run out of this stuff. They can't get out and get to it. And if somebody has a toothache or a headache or a body ache or something like that, they might be willing to trade you some garden seeds for some pain pills. Who knows? And when I say pain pills, I'm not talking about like drugs. I'm talking about aspirin, okay? I'm talking about acetaminophen and ibuprofen, aspirin, Oragel, Ambisol, things you can get right over, over the counter stuff. So keep that in mind. You might want to have a good stock of that on hand. Not just for yourself, but for those around you. And this is something else to think about too with these items I'm mentioning here. These items are not real expensive, and these are things you can put back extra of. Maybe your family can use them, maybe your extended family. If you have a disaster, then maybe something you can help them out with. And a sewing kit. Now, if you have a national disaster and you have a power outage, then your sewing machines are not going to run. You're not going to have any way to sew anything except for thread and needle. And now you can get the sewing kits at Dollar Tree. I've heard different reviews on them. Some people say they're not fit to get. They say the thread doesn't hold up. And other people say, well, for just to start out, just to sew a tear in a shirt or something, that they work fine. But that's something to have on hand, whether it be at Dollar Tree or Walmart. The small sewing kits are not real expensive at either, $1 at the Dollar Tree, and are not real expensive at Walmart if you get a small sewing kit. And they come, I think the ones at Walmart come like this one that has a pair of scissors and a measuring tape and thread and needles. So keep that in mind. You're always going to have things you need thread and needle for in life. If nothing else, just sew a button back on. But they're good bartering tools also if you have them on hand, and they're inexpensive. Don't take up a lot of room to store stuff like that. None of this stuff I'm mentioning takes up a lot of room. This next item is reference books, stuff like how-to manuals. It does, whether it be how to work on a vehicle, how to build and do things like that, how to do whatever it may be, repairs of any kind, whether it be plumbing or electrical repairs, whatever. How-to manuals are very, very handy in a time like this, because you're going to have to do a lot of stuff manually. You're not going to have the opportunity to call electricians or plumbers or carpenters or people like that to come out and do work for you. In a natural disaster or a national disaster, those things just kind of disappear unless you've got money, and a lot of it. But then also in those books, you'll want to get you some cookbooks, and you can always find cookbooks at the thrift stores, Goodwills, things like that. You can find them online right now, and if you search, kind of diligent in your search, you can find them relatively inexpensive. So I would recommend finding cookbooks that date back several years, simply because they seem to use more pantry type stuff than having to go out, to the grocery and buy some of the newer fillers that they use in cooking today. The older cookbooks tend to use what you've got on hand, and that's things that you need to learn how to do, is to use what you've got on hand in your pantry. So watch for the old cookbooks. They'll be very valuable in a time of national disaster, because people will have to go back to home cooked meals. Coffee filters is number 7. Tons of uses for coffee filters, and you can get coffee filters at the Dollar Tree. You can use a coffee filter, and you can make a tea bag from a coffee filter. You can use a coffee filter on top of a bowl if you put it in a microwave to prevent stuff from splattering, especially stuff like spaghetti sauces and things like that that are liquid. You can lay that over top of your bowl. It'll stop that stuff from splattering. You can use it to filter fruit juice, to catch the pulp out of fruit juice. You can use it to filter water if you need to filter any kind of water. They're lint free, and they're great to clean windows and mirrors and stuff like that with, just like you would a paper towel. Them being lint free, you can polish your shoes with. They're just all kinds of things. Do a search on uses for coffee filters, and you'll be amazed at what all you can use coffee filters for. I would definitely have extra coffee filters put back, because like I said, you can get them at the Dollar Tree. So you can get a pack of coffee filters for $1. They may even be cheaper at Walmart. I'm not sure what the cost on the filters at Walmart are, but they're not expensive. And then number 8 would be duct tape. Do I need to go into what you could use duct tape for? Everything. If it can be stuck together and taped up, duct tape will do it. It has tons and tons and tons of uses. And the duct tape at Dollar Tree, it's not like buying the Gorilla brand duct tape at Walmart, but it holds pretty daggone good. We've used it here. We bought duct tape from the Dollar Tree, and it did a pretty good job for us. And for the use of it, if you would need to buy it from Walmart, because it comes in larger rolls at Walmart, those are still things that you might want to invest in. They're not real super expensive. But it's something you might want to invest in, because it's something that will last for many, many years, and it holds just forever. I mean, it just lasts a long time. Eventually, all this stuff will dry out like that, but it really holds for a long time, and it'd be a great, great thing to have on hand if you need it. Another thing is cotton socks and underwear. These are things that when people are put in a position of just like with a natural disaster, and you're not able to get out to the stores and not able to get out to buy things that you need, it's just, having clean underwear and clean socks just gives you a good, it helps your morale. It just lifts you up a little bit. It just lifts your spirits to have something clean on like that, and not have to wear old ones over and over and over again. Every now and then you can just pull out a pair of new clean socks or new clean underwear, and it would just lift a person's spirits, I think, to have that on hand. Lighters and matches is number 10. You can't have too much of that stuff in a national disaster. If there was a grid, the grid goes down, you don't have electricity, you don't have any way to start fires. You can't cook unless you have a gas range. Now, if you've got a natural gas range, then of course you can still use at least your cooktop. If you've got a standing pilot for an oven, You can still light your oven and cook with it, natural gas. You need to be careful with that stuff though when you're doing that. But you would at least have some form of, to cook. But for the most part, most folks I think have electric ranges and ovens. And if you have a power outage, you're not going to be able to cook. You're going to have some way to fix hot foods, to boil water, to boil soups, to cook whatever you're wanting to cook. You're going to have a way to start a fire. And matches and lighters are always the best way to do that. It's just a necessity, I know they make those fire starters. What are they called? Strikers, fire strikers that you do like that, and it makes sparks and starts up your fire and lint and whatever you're using, tinder. But man, lighters and matches are so much easier than that. And if you keep them dry, they last for a long, long time. Now, I read somewhere a gentleman that had kept some Bic lighters stored back, he said, for about 20 years, 50 of them. And he said when he pulled them out and opened them to use them, he said only 7 of them worked because the others had the flint had kind of disintegrated, and he thought it was because of the oxygen that they were exposed to. So if you're going to store long-term stuff like that, you might want to vacuum seal it. If it's something that oxygen might damage, you might for sure want to vacuum seal those things. And it's not hard. It wouldn't be hard to vacuum seal matches or lighters. And the last thing I'm going to mention here, normally this is kind of expensive at Walmart, but I saw it at Dollar Tree, is motor oil. Just regular 10W30 motor oil. It has tons of uses around a home for your tools, for your vehicles, outside like that. People used it for years and years and years before WD-40 and all that stuff came along. Oil is essential on a farm or around a house. If you have tools, it would come in very, very handy. And you can buy, if I recall right now, I'm trying to remember for sure, the picture here shows a 16-ounce bottle of motor oil, and that is at Dollar Tree for $1. Now, every Dollar Tree is not going to carry everything maybe that I mentioned, because the Dollar Tree here locally where we live don't always carry what the Dollar Tree in the next town carries, and the one in the next town doesn't always carry what the one in the other town carries that we go to. There's 3 around here that we go to from time to time, and they'll all have something different. So your Dollar Tree may not carry motor oil. I don't know. I don't think our local one does, but I have seen it in another Dollar Tree. So that's the 11 things I wanted to mention to you, and I'm sure there's other things that you probably will think of that you may want to add to this list, or might think is more important than something on the list. And by all means, we welcome all your comments. Be sure and let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel is more important. And don't forget to like our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. If you enjoy our videos, that's how you can help us more than anything you can do, is to subscribe to our channels and like our videos. YouTube will put us in the recommended upcoming videos when you do that. The more likes, the better. So thank you all ahead of time, and God bless you. We pray that the Lord watch over you and care for you. And until the next time, we'll see you in the next video.